Today I bring to you this book that I completely love. It's Ash Princess by Sebastian. It's the first one in a trilogy, and I really need the second one and probably the third one right away. I have to say that one of the things that I have loved most about this book is the darkness it has. Darkness not in a way of expecting dark magic of or bad characters and as in evil characters or I don't know, of a lot of blood and fights and things like that. There's a lot of that in here, but darkness and in the way of the darkness that humanity can have inside, the darkness of corruption, of power, of being a person that doesn't care about the others and only cares about power, the darkness of living through trauma and abuse and surviving it and how it shapes you, the darkness of being enslaved, the darkness of being told that you are not enough, that you have to renounce who you are, and that you have to change who you are and what you represent in order to please other people. It's a darkness about going through being in a place where everyone is destroyed, the way you had of living, your culture, your language, having that all of that suddenly it's forbidden, that you have to hide who you are, and there is someone who wants to eradicate who you are as a person, as a culture, as a part of something else. So I have to say that this book, it's amazing. It's like 400 pages long, and I devoured it in one day, and I only put it down because I had to go to sleep. So yeah, we're going to find main characters. That's amazing. We are going to find her under two names. When we began the book, she's called Thora, but she's called Theodosia in reality. Why she has this duplicity of names, it's because she was a princess and she was called Theodosia and her mother was the queen. And then suddenly comes a raid and this figure called the Kaiser comes and kills everyone. All his people, all her people are enslaved. She sees her mother die in front of her eyes and she is punished and abused. She's kept as a trophy, in a way like I kill everything that you were, your people, your kingdom, your language, your culture, as I say, and you're going to submit to me and be everything that I say that you are. And that's why at the beginning of the book she's called Thora, because she even gets a new name because she has to forget her old name and everything that represents, and this makes you think about the power that there is in names, the names that someone chose for you, someone who loves you, like a mother, a father, and all of that. And I don't want to give much of this book away because I think for me one of the most powerful things was reading it, knowing almost nothing, expecting almost nothing. So what I did was read the first pages that Amazon provide for me. Well, for everyone who wants to check them out, they are there in the Amazon page of this book, Ash Princess. And I was gripped. I love, as I say, this dark way of talking that the author has. We are going to have this society, this culture, these people who are called the Asturians, they come from Austria, and we are going to have these people called the Kaiser, who's going to obliterate them. He's going to invade this land and he's going to, as I said, eradicate everything that made these people who they are. He kills their queen, enslaves the princess, and wants to make them work for him like slaves. And he wants to make everyone forget their language, their cultural differences, and he wants to assimilate everyone, but not as a part of a group, but as you are inferior, you are different, you are my slaves. And we are going to follow this girl, Theo, as she wants to come to terms with what was been going on, what has happened to her, and she goes from being a scared girl to being a person into her own power, into her own capacity to say, hey, this is enough, now I want to decide for myself. And as I say, I don't want to talk much about the plot, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it. We're going to say to follow an array of characters that are amazing, all of them. I have to say that all the characters of this book are so fleshed out that you feel like they're real and you can completely buy their transformations. When we began the book, as I say, Thora is a girl who's scared. She has been abused, she has been beaten up, she has been made paid, she has had to pay for things that she hasn't committed, her people wants to revolt, and she's being like an scapegoat. Everything that goes wrong, she has to pay for it, so that she forgets what she really is, that she's part of Astoria, that she will be the queen now that her mother is dead. And she is constructed into this girl who's scared, that always complice, that always says, no, I'm not a rebel, I'm just happy that you let me live. It's like, yeah, she has like a Stockholm syndrome, but it's more complicated than that. She has to renounce everything she was, everything she holds dear, in order to survive, because she's in a very, very dark and dangerous place. And we are going to follow her through the book, and we are going to see her come to grips with what's going on in her life. And I love how she begins to evolve into this girl that says, hey, that's enough, now I want to decide my own fate, and even if I have to suffer, it will be because I decide something, because I want to fight, or I want to stand up, or whatever. And the evolution of this character is amazing, and I love that the author hasn't pulled her punches when talking about submission, slavery, abuse, trauma, and how all the things that this character has gone through has shaped her into a different person. She was an innocent child. She became this abused person that always says yes, that always cowers, that she doesn't want to get involved into anything. She wants just to disappear, so no one sees her. And she comes to be this person that wants to be seen, that wants to fight, that wants to endure what she has lived, and say, hey, these scars have shaped me, have made me feel like I was in pain. She was in pain, and she's in pain physically and mentally through the book. But I love how she says that everything that's happened to her is something that has proof that she can live, and that she has lived, and that she is where she is now. And I love how her mind works. Also, I love how she thinks, sometimes that she has to do things, and she stops herself and thinks, okay, I'm not so different from these people. Okay, they made me a hard person. I have to kill maybe to survive, but it doesn't mean that I like it. And it makes it I don't want to say much because I don't want to spoil the book, but I like that she doesn't go and do things. Sometimes when you read a book like that, suddenly the heroes just, overcome everything, and then they do anything they have in order to survive, and they don't feel remorse, or they don't feel regrets. In this book, we are going to find that our heroes have those feelings. They stop and think, I don't want to do this. Maybe this person wasn't perfect, but I love her. Maybe I thought that we could be friends. Maybe, and she has doubts, and she thinks, okay, I'm going to kill, 20 people, so 14 can survive. It's better, it's worse. I like that she questions herself and the things that she's going to do to survive. And I also love the array of characters that she has around her. Soren, he's the son of the Kaiser, and he feels himself like he can be a shadow of his father, like he can grow up to be like him, and he doesn't want that. And he's living also his own kind of hell, because he's the son of that monster, and he doesn't want to be like him. And we're also going to find another rebels, Bastian, Art, and Heron, I think it was his name, that they side with Theo, and they want to get back what was theirs. And I love how they come from being just these people that wants to run away, and they end up being these people who wants to stand up and say, hey, it has to end. Maybe we will die, but we have to try. We owe it to who we are to try. As I say, I don't want to say much more about this book because I want you to be surprised by it, but it's a very incredibly riveting tale. It's very gripping. It's like a dark fantasy in some way, because it talks about slavery, about going to a place that already has a culture, a way of living, and just eradicating everything and assimilating the people to the strongest faction, and just trying to use the other people as slaves. It makes you think about all of that, about conquering other people, enslaving them, raising who they are through their culture, their language, everything they are and what they represent. It also talks about abuse, and mentally and physically. It talks about endurance, about surviving, about what you had to do to just keep on living when everything it's dark. I love that all the characters weigh their options, and there is times in which I was rooting for the main character, and I was like, I get you. I mean, like I said, she's not a hero that does everything correctly. She fears, she wants to save people that sometimes had shown her kindness, but she finds that if she does, then her people it's going to die. So she's like, in this precipice in which she's walking, and it's amazing that sometimes that he stops and thinks, I'm going to kill people. Am I better than the ones that came before me? Because I'm doing that to survive, I'm doing that to help my people, but what does that make me? And there's lots of things that this book makes you think and feel, and I think that my review isn't doing this book justice because it's so amazing that the only thing I can say is just pick it up, because if you like tales about surviving, about empowerment of girls coming to age, coming to realize that they are more than they have been told they are. If you want people revolting, protecting who they are and what they will represent to them. Also, it has magic because there's some magic related to gods and stones, and I love the world building that the author has made, and it's I cannot believe this is a first book. I cannot believe that this is a debut because it's amazing, you guys. You have to pick it up. I really recommend reading the first pages if you like the way in which it's written, the prose, the narrative, the darkness, the hint of something more in there. You're going to love the book because it's amazing. So yeah, even if my review doesn't show everything I want to say about this world, about the amazing world building, about the incredibly fleshed out characters that make you feel for them, about this amazing plot, about the twist that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting anything that happens in this book, and that it's amazing. Because when you read a lot, sometimes books doesn't surprise you, but this one just keep me like, because I wasn't expecting and guessing anything that happens, and for me that's amazing. And the ending was almost as satisfying as the first page. So yeah, as I say, I want to read the second and third book. So yeah, pick it up. Thank you for watching. Bye.